And if you inhibit those enzymes, you prevent the breakdown of the growth hormone secretagogue peptides which you just injected, potentially increasing its half-life and thus increasing its growth hormone secreting effects. So if you go to bed with a full stomach and you know that somatostatin levels are high, but you still want to dose your MK677 or other growth hormone secretagogues that activate the ghrelin receptor, it would be wise to supplement with 5,000 to 10,000 milligrams arginine, potentially in combination with 2,000 to 10,000 milligrams ornithine and 1,000 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams lysine to blunt somatostatin release somewhat and still get high growth hormone levels throughout the night. Melatonin supplementation is known to enhance growth hormone secretion between 5 milligrams to 100 milligrams before bed. GABA supplementation, 500 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams before bed. Creatine monohydrate supplementation, 3,000 milligrams to 5,000 milligrams daily, preferably pre-workout like was shown in the scientific evidence linked down below. Intermittent fasting, 1 meal per day, fasting after 4 p.m. in the evening, going to bed hungry, reducing somatostatin levels, or full fasting, all minimize somatostatin levels and enhance growth hormone secretion. Adequate protein intake, micronutrient sufficiency, low refined sugar intake, low glycemic index, and load food for dinner, minimal alcohol consumption, healthy body weight, proper hydration. There's some scientific evidence that clonidine solo or nicotine solo or in combination enhances growth hormone releasing hormone pulses throughout the day. Propanol inhibits somatostatin release similar to arginine. And then there's dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors, which prevent the breakdown of growth hormone releasing hormone and potentially growth hormone secretagogue peptides as well. So not MK677, but all of the injectable peptides might undergo metabolism by dipeptidyl peptidase 4, which are found on the cell membrane of most of the cells in your body. And if you inhibit those enzymes, you prevent the breakdown of the growth hormone secretagogue peptides which you just injected, potentially increasing its half-life and thus increasing its growth hormone secreting effects. Here are some of the commonly used dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors. I'll just put them on the screen. You have to do some additional research because most of these don't have clear scientific evidence that prove that the growth hormone levels go up with prolonged use of these medications, right? It's not found in a medical insert. Side effect, increased growth hormone levels, that's not part of it, but there is some scientific evidence that shows that some of these are known to increase growth hormone levels by inhibiting growth hormone releasing hormone breakdown and potentially, again, growth hormone secretagogue peptide breakdown. And keep in mind that dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors also prevent the breakdown of other growth factors, including angiopoietin, epidermal growth factor, erythropoietin, fibroblast growth factor 1 to 23, glial cell line-derived neurotropic factor, growth hormone releasing hormone, which is what we're after, hepatocyte growth factor, insulin-like growth factor 1 and 2, so that's also what we're after, right? Higher growth hormone levels and thus higher IGF-1 levels downstream. Mechanogrowth factor, myostatin, brain-derived neurotropic factor, nerve growth factor, thrombopoietin, vascular endothelial growth factor, and many, many other growth factors. So please do additional research if you want to go with the DPPI route. And to kind of emphasize what you should avoid while trying to maximize growth hormone output while running growth hormone secretagogues, circulating growth hormone and IGF-1 levels are known to cause a negative feedback for further growth hormone secretion. So there's no real way around that because IGF-1, while using growth hormone secretagogues, might be elevated for, let's say, up to 36 hours. So you can't mitigate those effects. Somatostatin obviously can blunt growth hormone secretion even when GHRH or ghrelin receptor agonism is in place. So you have to go hungry at certain periods of time when you administer at least ghrelin receptor agonists, further increasing your hunger and also enhancing your growth hormone secretion, which is what you're after. Hyperglycemia might blunt growth hormone secretion. Free fatty acids in the bloodstream might blunt growth hormone secretion, but this effect you can inhibit by taking nicotinic acid, niacin, vitamin B3, albeit that scientific evidence has been performed with intravenous administration. So don't go hyperglycemic and don't have so much fat in your bloodstream, and growth hormone secretion should be optimized. Benzodiazepines has a negative effect on growth hormone secretion, and so does baclofen. glucocorticoids, whether that's endogenously produced or exogenously administered. There is some scientific evidence that dihydrotestosterone, DHT, might reduce growth hormone releasing hormone pulse peaks, but I can't find any scientific evidence that these results are observed with dihydrotestosterone derivatives. So maybe primobolan, winstrol, anavar, etc. can also reduce growth hormone releasing hormone peaks to the point growth hormone secretion is not fully optimized. The scientific evidence is reasonably thin, and since testosterone, estrogens, and DHEA can augment and enhance growth hormone secretion, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And insulin and phenothiazines have a blunting effect on growth hormone secretion. Keep in mind that methylene blue is a derivative of phenothiazine, but I can't find any scientific evidence that methylene blue has a negative effect on serum growth hormone levels or growth hormone secretion in general. So if you want to use methylene blue for cognitive enhancing benefits or to upregulate mitochondrial function, please proceed ahead. So if all of this sounds cumbersome and expensive, why don't we take exogenous growth hormone 2 IUs per administration, maybe once, twice, or 3 times per day? You might be able to get more of a result for the amount of money that you spent on 2 IUs of growth hormone compared to all of these over-the-counter supplements and particular methods alongside 2 growth hormone secretagogues in combination regarding your serum growth hormone levels and serum IGF-1 levels, right? Ultimately, it matters how much money you spend and how much of a result you get. Because, well, if growth hormone levels and IGF-1 levels decline with age, how much of a beneficial effect do you expect to get stacking all of these things together if you're old like I am? I don't expect so much results from growth hormone secretagogues, and thus I go with true pharmaceutical exogenous growth hormone instead. Let's have a look at the clinical reference ranges for growth hormone. For males, that's between 0.4 to 10 nanograms per milliliter, and for females, that's between 1 to 14 nanograms per milliliter for male and female adults. Unfortunately, I can't really find what the decline of serum growth hormone levels are for men and women by age group. All I was able to find was this study performed by Hirsch et al., titled Growth Hormone Releasing Hormone and Growth Hormone Secretagogues in Normal Aging, Fountain of Youth or Pool of Tantalus. If we scroll down, you see here that this study shows that there's an exponential rate of decline of growth hormone secretion, peaking at 150 micrograms per kilogram of body weight per day during puberty, and that declines to 1/6 of that by the age of 55, declining to 25 micrograms per kilogram of body weight per day. So let's say you finish puberty at the age of 15 years old, and then over the next 40 years, growth hormone secretion reduces by 85%. Me. All right, so this is why we have exogenous growth hormone to kind of complement the deficiency of growth hormone as you age. The decline was most observed during the nighttime growth hormone secretion, where growth hormone secretion pulses throughout the day don't decline as much with age. And when we look at serum IGF-1 levels, we see clear clinical reference ranges by age. I'll put them on the screen. So with males, up until you're, let's say, 18 years old, right around the time puberty finishes, serum IGF-1 levels steadily decline. And it's the same with females. Up until the age of 18, serum IGF-1 levels are pretty high, and then slowly but surely decline up until they're 80 years old. So how much growth hormone secretion do you expect from growth hormone secretagogues plus all of these practices in place when you're old as Not much. Not much, I can tell you that. Otherwise, yours truly would be megadosing growth hormone secretagogues plus all of the best practices every single day. But instead, I'm on 2.4 IUs exogenous growth hormone, and my serum growth hormone levels and my serum IGF-1 levels are far higher compared to any growth hormone secretagogue protocol I've ever used in my life. And I've tried a couple of them to kind of see what the effects would be. But of course, that's anecdotally for myself and myself alone. Your mileage might vary. You might get a lot more positive outcome compared to what I got from growth hormone secretagogues. I mean, I just gave you all of the information to make this work as best as possible to your own heart's desire. Right, so here's your homework. Go put it to work. Put it to practice, report back in a month to fuel the algorithm, and let us all know how much growth hormone output increased by incorporating some of the practices which we discussed right here. You can do your blood work over at Merrick Health. If you live in the United States, check your growth hormone levels before incorporating some of these practices, and check your growth hormone afterwards, and might as well check your serum IGF-1 levels while you're at it. And otherwise, go by the mirror, take your before and after pictures, run the experiment, see if you filled out, if you leaned up, if the wrinkles in your face filled in as well. So now you look more youthful, your nails and your hair start growing a lot faster, because that's also very solid indications that growth hormone levels are somewhat elevated. Let's leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the YouTube description section. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve, Vigorous Crew. You guys know what to do. That's all exogenous growth hormone and exogenous IGF-1.